Okay, let's go.
So hello there, ChickChatters. We are back with another story of the week, and this one is from 3 years ago on relationship advice. And it's kind of interesting because the original post was deleted by moderators, so the update and the post is all in the same thing.
Okay.
So this way we can still read the original. So the comments might not be the original comments that I'm reading, but still, to each their own.
Wait, just so I understand. So this was posted and then it was deleted, but somebody reposted it?
Yeah, like it says my original post got locked because I didn't use a Throw RA account. So I made another account to post the update so it doesn't happen again. I'll post a link on my old account for proof that this is my new account. So something to do with the accounts.
Okay.
I don't know. The title of this is called I Think My Sister-in-Law, 23 Female, Best Friend, 23 Female, is trying to get with my 25 female husband, 28 male, and she's encouraging it. Am I delusional?
Everyone's in their 20s and the sister-in-law's friend is trying to get with the poster's husband. And
Bingo.
the sister-in-law is encouraging it.
Bingo. All right.
Well, if
so
that's the case, then that's wrong. But let's hear it.
So it says, my sister-in-law, 23 female, is my husband, 28 male's half-sister. She was the product of their mother's infidelity. His father.
Let's not do that.
I know
how you really feel about your husband's family.
I know what you're saying. His father divorced their mother when he was 12. Okay, when the dude was 12, I was like, wait a minute. When the father was 12. His father divorced their mother when he was 12 after he found out through a paternity test that she wasn't his. Okay, this is interesting. My father-in-law refused to have anything to do with my sister-in-law, but continued to have a relationship with my husband. Because of this, my sister-in-law is very clingy to my husband. My husband is also very protective of his sister and generally doesn't tolerate anything negative being said about her, which is why I'm posting this here before mentioning anything to him. My husband and I bought a house last year, which has its own indoor swimming pool. That's pretty damn nice. My sister-in-law was super excited when she saw it and asked if she could use it sometimes with her friend. We said it was fine as long as she gave us notice before she turned up. Her and her friend, Chloe, have used it many times before, but almost never when my husband was home. He is a lawyer and works long hours. With lockdown, my husband has started to work from home. My sister-in-law asked me if she and Chloe could come over and use the pool. I told her I was uncomfortable with them coming over as I am pregnant and don't want to accidentally expose my baby to anything risky. My sister-in-law then asked if she and Chloe quarantined for 2 weeks, would they be able to come over? And my husband said it was fine. 2 weeks later, they turned up at my house. My husband was in his office, so they go straight to the pool. After making small talk, my husband ends up coming out after an hour, and we're all hanging out in the kitchen. My sister-in-law walks in to get a drink, and she starts talking to my husband. Before she goes back to the pool, she says, Chloe's going to be so happy to see you. It was weird because my husband and Chloe aren't close. Chloe comes into the kitchen 2 minutes later, and she spends the rest of her time talking to my husband until he excuses himself to go back to work. She's super giggly and smiley when she talks to him. He would say something sarcastic, and she would laugh like it was the funniest joke she's ever heard. It honestly felt like she was flirting with him. Before she went back to the pool, she gave me this weird smirky look. Before they leave, they asked my husband if he's working from home every day this week, and he confirms that he is. The next 2 weeks, they come over to the house to swim every single day, except Chloe never gets in the water. Instead, she hangs around the house in her bikini. She was previously wearing a one-piece, if that makes any difference. Whenever my husband comes out to hang out around me, she quickly interrupts him and keeps him talking until he has to go back into work. I made lunch for us all, and when I excused myself to call my husband down, my sister-in-law quickly stopped me and said Chloe could call him for me. They shared a look, and Chloe looked really happy when she went to go get him. Chloe has also started to get much touchier with my husband. She's put her hands on his chest and arms, stands or sits really close to him. To my husband's credit, he does usually create space between them whenever she does something like this. The reason I believe my sister-in-law is in on this is because she's made a few pregnancy-related jabs at me recently. She told me a story about how one of her friend's boyfriends was cheating on her and then said something along the lines of, "Did you know a lot of men start cheating when their wives are pregnant?" She also made comments about how I look chubby now and it looks weird next to my husband because he is well built. If she spots my husband out of the office, she quickly goes to inform Chloe. I know pregnancy hormones can mess with a person's brain, so I'm wondering if I'm just looking for something that isn't there. My sister-in-law sent me a text yesterday asking if they could come over to swim next week, and I really want to say no, but I know she'll whine to my husband if I do. I ideally want to have a conversation with him before then, but I'm not sure if I should mention the flirting. Am I delusional?
This is probably the only point that I'm going to make in a more neutral direction than you're absolutely not delusional and how effing weird. But there's really no way for us to know if her pregnancy brain is making her delusional because she's sharing her perspective of the story. But from her perspective of the story, this is bullshit. This should not be happening. And this is so weird because the sister is playing a role. Again, it's hard for me to know anything else because she's just telling us her perspective of what she's experiencing. And she believes that all this stuff is going on. And I believe her that she believes that. And that's not okay in any way, shape, or form. There's no logic around, oh, well, if it was this way, then maybe that would make sense. No, none of that. No, 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 no.
Yeah, no. This woman is walking around your house in a bikini, not even hitting the water.
There's too many details for me to go, I guess, detail by detail, but this is just not normal by any means, especially the walking around the house, not hitting the water, saying all these jokes, being touchy-feely, the sister trying to figure out times where she can place her friend in front of her brother. It's weird. It's really
I don't
weird.
get what the sister gets out of this girl being with her brother anyways.
The pregnancy comments are so weird. I do hear that men sometimes cheat, sometimes during pregnancy. I don't know if it's more or less, but men cheat sometimes.
Yeah,
so do all people, but
Mhm.
they're definitely not immune from cheating just because you're pregnant, so it does happen. I don't think that has anything to do with your little friend being around. Ugh, I'm grossed out. I don't like it.
If you truly care about your brother, why would you put that in his wife's head anyways?
I
If
don't
she's
think
carrying your niece or nephew or something, like why would you even want to break up this home for your friend Chloe?
for Chloe.
and
And what do you think the end goal is here for you and Chloe and your brother? Like, you guys are just gonna hang out in this cool house with a pool. Why did you guys quarantine for 2 entire I mean, I know there wasn't a lot going on during lockdown, but to quarantine for 2 weeks just so you can go swimming at a pool?
I think that was strange in itself.
So weird. I get why they would come over every single day after that. They just dedicated 2 weeks of their life just to make sure that they could come do this. Like, I guess they're gonna come every day. But everything started getting weird
Right then, honestly, when they quarantined for
immediately.
2 weeks, especially the friend. I feel like it's one thing if your sister really wants to see you that bad that she might quarantine for 2 weeks, but and then what do you people do for a living? Are you not going to work because of this? Because there were some places that were still running.
Yep.
So are you not going to work? Or y'all are really quarantining just for the chance for Chloe to walk around in a house with a bikini? Chloe, she's not even getting in the damn pool. She's just quarantining so she can walk around this married couple's house.
That would be my thing at this point when she's asking. I know that they're going to ask if they can come over again next week. I mean, if you want to hide behind not bringing up this whole baloney, maybe you can start with, I don't know why you're coming over to not use the pool. So no. But I would just call it out at this point. I think she has enough evidence at least to talk to her husband about it and how she feels. I'm a little worried if the husband is protective of the sister and he really is somehow oblivious to this whole scene, then he might not be receptive.
But he's also got a pregnant wife at home, so hopefully he
should make the right decision.
I get being protective over your siblings and stuff like that for sure, but you also are starting a family with somebody. So
yeah, you should be protective of your marriage, of your pregnant wife, of your unborn child who needs a family intact. All those things should override the protectiveness of your half sister.
And the audacity for this sister-in-law to say to this woman, put on weight. She's pregnant.
She's pregnant.
You standing next to this man is just weird looking. Like, what is wrong with you?
Again, I'm like, there's no, I could see that in this way. I could see that possibly if it was a funny thing and it was very clear it was funny. Like, look how huge and round you are. And he's like, but
No, I'm not having it because for one, she's pregnant. Even if this wasn't going on, why would you say that to a pregnant lady?
that's what I'm saying.
So
It's
insensitive.
obvious when you're pregnant, you're going to be big. So if there's a level that you can be accepting around, yep, I'm this big bowling ball and you're this like rock, but to tell someone about themselves, kind of like yours, yeah, I'm not. That's so weird and mean and uncalled for. And unless she's already talking about it herself, then leave the pregnant woman alone and her damn husband. Just go somewhere else swimming.
Do you know how irritated I would be if I was pregnant just to watch two girls walk around my house in bikinis anyways? You know how irritated I would be at just that? Even when I'm bloated, I don't want to see people in bikinis.
Quarantine time was so stressful, and to be pregnant at that time would have been terrifying if I were in her shoes. I wouldn't even have trusted their weird 2-week quarantine, to be honest. Aren't they working or where are they going? Everyone who was in their mid-20s during COVID was not hardcore quarantining. They just weren't, unless you had a real autoimmune disease or cancer or really bad asthma. We're still going out there, whether you had to work or you were just
grocery
out.
store,
Yeah,
gas station.
yeah. People were out. Young people weren't getting that sick. I mean, that was a whole controversy for like ever. Oh, you 20-year-olds are spreading the corona.
If the question is if you're delusional or not, you are absolutely not.
No. But that's the hard part to tell, right? Like I said, that's the only part that I'm gonna talk against this story, because the story I hear, you're seeing it correctly if you're living in reality. But I don't know. I only know your side of the story. If this is what's going on in real life, or even if a flavor of this, even if one of these things happened, you're on the right track in wanting to confront the situation. You should absolutely confront the situation.
I'd be keeping tabs on everything and then coming to my husband with all of these examples. There's a way to talk to him about it where it doesn't completely maybe throw his sister under the bus, but be as sensitive as possible towards his relationship with his sister, but at the same time voicing that like you're very uncomfortable.
She could state her whole claim pertaining to Chloe. Chloe is around you a lot. Chloe does this. Chloe doesn't swim, but she walks around in her bikini and she talks to you at every chance she gets. And then add at the end, and I think your sister is aware of this, and at the very least, she's not stopping it.
He's a lawyer, right? And he's probably mainly work focused. Sometimes guys don't even really notice a lot of this stuff is going on, even if it's apparent to you. It's definitely apparent to you because it sounds like you're kind of stay-at-home wife right now, preparing to give birth. So you're fixated on it.
Yeah, more. It sounds like she's just sitting around the house. He's copping in from the office, saying hi. He probably thinks he's being friendly, eating his lunch and coming back and whatever.
Like,
but she can tell these girls act differently when he's in his office versus when he's not in his office versus when he's going to be home versus when he's not going to be home. How they perk up, at least Chloe or whatever her name is.
Most of these comments pertain to the update, but I will read a couple that don't pertain to the update. One says, Chloe and your sister-in-law sound massively trashy.
Yeah. Is that it?
That's all that person said.
That's amazing. Totally.
I mean, that is really trashy. This woman is pregnant. The man is married. Yeah. He made his choice. He decided to marry this woman. He decided to impregnate this woman. There is no ounce of this man that seems like he wants to cheat on this woman. And if he did, he would be doing that himself. He wouldn't need to bring bait to the house. Like, he would find it himself. So I don't understand. This woman's carrying your niece or nephew. So you're really going to start your relationship off with your niece or nephew by trying to get their mom, your dad divorced?
It's weird. What is the purpose? That's why I wonder what the end game is for them. They all want to live in this pool house together forever or what?
I don't get that either. I'm assuming the end game might be to get rid of this girl and I guess maybe only see the kid every other weekend or something. I don't understand why anybody would want their best friend to really hook up with their brother. That's really strange.
They're messy. They're definitely messy and
trashy.
Does
she think that if the best friend gets with the husband that she'll be able to spend a lot more time with him or something? Because then you're just obsessed with your brother and that's weird.
That is, that's too much closeness if you're asking me.
And just because your best friend gets with your brother doesn't mean you're going to see him all the time either. That means you could just lose both those people to each other.
That's what I was just gonna. Yeah, they could both be gone in their pool house and tell you, "Sorry, COVID, can't come over."
Quarantine. I don't see the point in that whatsoever. I just feel like that's so disgusting.
That's so mean. I'm sorry, but you don't love your brother if you're trying to put him through all of those things.
No, you might be in love with your brother, but you don't love your brother. Sounds like the sister-in-law wants him to leave her for anybody, including maybe even herself. I don't know. I just feel like that's so damn strange.
Ariana Grande song about you should leave your girlfriend because I'm bored or something. Like it's giving that.
Yeah, it's very much giving Ariana Grande. As if Ariana Grande was your sister-in-law kind of shit.
No, was it your sister-in-law's friend?
If Ariana Grande showed up on my porch with my sister, I'd be like, you motherfuckers leave.
You gotta go.
You guys gotta fucking go. And I never want to see you people again. I don't care.
Because here it's gonna be your fault.
Ariana's like the Pete Davidson of women. That's why they were together. I think
she really is. Yeah.
Someone said, I don't know why, but I feel like you guys need to get a Ring doorbell or security camera system in place.
Oh, this is giving a different story of the week.
Yeah, like the friend kissed the husband or whatever. That might not be the worst idea, but I want to give the husband a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because it seems like the wife so far has always been home when these people are there.
Yeah, I think either the husband knows that they're being a little strange and he's just ignoring it, rightfully so, or he's completely oblivious, which is also possible, or he knows and something bad's going on, but it sounds like the wife is home all the time.
It's quarantine at this point, so she is home all the time, and
maybe they're meaning give him an opportunity to hang himself and see if he does, but I don't know if you would want to see that.
Not pregnant, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe he does know, and because she's pregnant, he's kind of just letting it ride out because he wants to upset their pregnant wife by talking about all this stuff. He doesn't know what kind of stress that's going to cause her.
At minimum, even if he didn't bring it up with her, he should probably say, I don't think it's a good idea for my sister and her friend to come over anymore. If he knew, I think he should put an end to it.
You guys definitely need to have a conversation regardless because he could even be noticing the same thing and be afraid to talk about it. You could be afraid to talk about it. You both could be afraid to talk about it. This is a conversation that you need to have because this is just so strange. Who knows? Maybe you guys are on the same page.
True. Maybe he feels really uncomfortable about it, like he said, but he doesn't want to bring it up, or maybe he doesn't want to argue with his sister. So he's just leaving it there. But yeah, I mean, if you're both smelling poop, then
I do feel bad that yeah. Just because you're pregnant don't mean you can't see.
That doesn't mean that you're delusional. Pregnancy brain is like you have brain fog or you're having a hard time with your memory or a hard time maybe, coming up with the words or planning or organizing. Not being completely delusional or making things up out of thin air.
I think even somebody who wasn't pregnant would be like, what the hell's going on here?
You're not having psychosis, I don't think. So you're not actually hallucinating, are you?
I don't think so. I think that as long as Chloe is there in that little string bikini and her ass ain't getting in the water, you have every right to be like, what is going on here? This woman is at my house for hours and hours.
It's an indoor pool. It's not like she's just catching some rays. You never got hot enough to jump in the pool. It's an indoor pool. You're either there to swim or you're not. It's so hot and sticky in those indoor pools. It doesn't matter how good the ventilation system is. I'm just sitting there in the humid all day, collecting sweat, just waiting for this man to step out of his office.
So the sister-in-law is the only one jumping in this pool. So is she just swimming alone and her friends just walking in your whole house? What is going on here?
It does sound trashy. Like, I'm not saying you're not allowed at your brother's house when he has these cool amenities, but to quarantine for an entire 2 weeks so you can hang out at your brother's house at the age of 25 and find something better to do.
I'm wondering because this girl showed up in a one piece first. Like maybe this was something that the sister-in-law was planning with her. Hey, why don't you get with my brother? But the girl was like, I don't even know if I like him yet. And then when she went to the house and she saw he was like her type or something.
I think that they are plotting and planning every day on the way there. After they leave, they're divulging all the progress that they think that they have made. I mean, it really does sound like they have a plan going on. And it seems like towards the end of what she was describing that the sister and the friend are trying to find a way to get the friend alone with the husband. It makes me feel icky and uncomfortable. I don't like it at all.
Uncomfy. You are ready for the update?
I don't know. I feel like I never know where these updates are going.
Yeah, it's a decently sized update, so I'll just get right into it.
So there's a lot to explain.
You got some explaining to do, Chloe and sister-in-law. It says, well, I read and reread all the comments on the original post to try to figure out how I was going to bring up the issue. Turns out I didn't have to. We were watching a movie and my phone lit up with another text from my sister-in-law telling me she was now going to be here at 1 p.m. the next day to swim with Chloe. My husband saw it and told me to tell her not to come. This is really weird behavior for my husband because he tends to do anything to accommodate my sister-in-law and very rarely refuses her anything. I asked him if something had happened and he shrugged it off and we kept watching the movie. A few minutes later, he paused the movie and said he wanted to ask me a question. He asked if I'd noticed Chloe never swam when she came to our house. I wish I could say I was calm and collected like the comments were advising, but I ended up laughing hysterically.
Well, yeah, at that point.
I love this for them.
I love this for the husband. Did you notice this?
I love this for them. I was honestly just so relieved he brought it up instead of me having to be the one to do it. I think my husband thought I was losing my mind. Probably because she started laughing.
I would be cackling because imagine the relief that she probably felt. It was like a mix of like euphoria and relief and love for him that he was the one. I'm sure, the cackle had to have been real. And she's pregnant, so it's like, wait, oh God.
I know, I'm worried for her that baby might almost came out by all that laughing.
I know, you and I are relaxed laughing. We're like, oh, okay, good. So I can't imagine the height of the laugh. Yeah, it probably was scary for him to hear.
Relief, validation. At that point, it would be funny for me. Like, okay, like
hilarious.
When I finally stopped laughing, he repeated the question and said he wanted a serious answer. I said, of course I've noticed. And he awkwardly replied, so you must have noticed the other thing too. To summarize the conversation that followed, my husband hadn't noticed Chloe was flirting with him for the first few days because he was so busy with work. He wasn't really paying attention to anything else. He said when she started getting handsy is when he suddenly had the light bulb moment that she was into him. He says he didn't want to unnecessarily stress me out, so he never mentioned anything, but he was worried I'd noticed too and thought he'd be interested because he hadn't immediately shut it down. He realized we would eventually have to have this talk, but he wasn't sure how to bring it up. Oh, the irony. He did privately speak to Chloe and told her that he was happily married and wasn't interested in starting anything with anyone else. Apparently, she never took him seriously because she kept doing it. In the end, he called his sister on Sunday to either get her to stop or Chloe couldn't come over anymore. His sister ended up having a tantrum and said a few nasty things about me, the baby, our relationship. She insisted that I somehow was behind this request and made some comments about how I was controlling and insecure because I looked like a beached whale and Chloe was younger and hotter. He was pretty pissed at this and said if she said something like that about me again, he would stop speaking to her.
Yeah, I want to give that lady a second chance. Continue.
She claimed I had baby trapped him, and when my husband pointed out that we were already married, so I didn't need to trap him, and that he was the one who wanted to start a family, she kept insisting that I had manipulated him into feeling that way. She claimed he was unhappy in our relationship, and he always looked tired because I was forcing him to slave away to fund my fancy lifestyle whilst I sat on my ass all day. He pointed out that he chose to be a lawyer knowing that he would have to work long hours and that I had only recently left my job, so her accusations were baseless. She said some other stuff along the same lines, but the thing that made my husband finally snap was when she said it, the baby, was already ruining everything, and it was going to just get worse when it was born, and that he should have dragged me to the abortion clinic while he had the chance. He told her neither her nor Chloe were welcome in our home anymore until they apologized for how they've been behaving and for the things my sister-in-law said.
We're beyond an apology.
He said that he wasn't sure he could ever forgive or forget what she said about our child, even if she did apologize, and that he couldn't believe she would even think something like that, let alone say it. Apparently, she started crying and said she was sorry and that she didn't mean it, and she was just scared to lose him and that she wasn't thinking clearly. He hung up on her. He showed me his phone and that she had been calling him, texting him since, begging him to reply. He asked if she said anything to me. I was debating whether to say anything or not, but he kept insisting he knew she had said something and he wanted to know what it was. And I told him the things that I mentioned in the original post and a few other things she had said. He asked me why I never mentioned anything when she first said it, and I mentioned how he got really defensive whenever I said anything even slightly negative about his sister, and he got defensive. I pointed out he was doing it again after some back and forth. He admitted that maybe he was a little bit defensive when it came to her, but promised to stop, and he wanted to make sure that we could talk about anything, including his sister. He ended up mentioning wanting to try couples counseling. He said it wasn't because he thought there was something wrong in our relationship, but apparently he has been speaking to his dad a lot recently, and he mentioned one thing that he regretted about his marriage with the mother-in-law is that they never went to therapy until the cracks in their relationship were too big. In his current marriage, they go, and it's helped them avoid mistakes of his first marriage. I agreed, so we're probably going to try that soon. My husband thinks my sister-in-law will eventually turn up, even if we tell her not to, but he promised that he'd deal with her if she does. So Reddit, I guess you were right. I really did just need to speak to him. Thanks for the advice and comments. I enjoyed reading them all. You went through a lot in that update.
I did. I felt all the emotions, and now I'm settled.
This is good. I love this for them as a couple. It's kind of like what you were talking about earlier, not on camera, but about how people tend to wait till the last minute to go to couples counseling, and that maybe it's good to go just in general every now and then.
Therapists are not magicians. They're not going to fix your marriage that's been broken for 10 years. They're going to help you to enhance the skills, and hopefully you guys still like each other enough for them to be effective. But we're not magicians in that aspect. I think this is probably the best possible outcome that could happen. I think it's really hilarious that he got defensive about his sister again. I think it's so great that he noticed what was going on with Chloe, because it doesn't sound like he would have been receptive if he really was still oblivious like he was the first couple days. But yeah, this guy does have a soft spot for his sister, even when she's being trifling.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love this poster. She's so right. She's on the money, and it's so funny. He was getting defensive. She's like, he was defensive. She's fun. I like her. I resent the sister-in-law. Chloe is younger and hotter. This girl is 25 and these people are 23. How much younger do y'all think you really are?
Well, and like, what does that do for someone's life stability? Like, have a younger, hotter person. No, we're talking about marriage here. We're talking about stability, commitment, consistency, a lifetime. Who cares about younger and hotter if you're truly in a marriage for the reasons you should be? That's not right.
And the fact that that woman had the audacity to talk about the child that way, and that he should have took his wife to a clinic.
And then the brother is still over here honestly trying to defend his sister when she gets brought into it.
I don't know how much he was defending her in that conversation, because I'm not really a fly on the wall for that. I think he was more defending himself. And he did say, you know what, you're probably right. I do get a little defensive about her. I'm protective of her, whatever. But then that's probably why this sister-in-law feels so enabled that she can do whatever she wants to her brother, say whatever she wants to her brother with no consequences. Yeah. The fact that this is how you're going to even start this relationship off with your niece or nephew by calling them it, saying they should have been aborted. You can't take those words back. You cannot take those words back. Two people have heard those words. Both parents have heard those words. You are never coming back from that. Even if you apologize, even if your mind changes, even if you're the best aunt in the world after that, you can never come back from saying those words. Those are damning words. And imagine someone saying that to you while you're pregnant. That's ridiculous. So I commend this woman for not tearing that other girl's head off. Both of them. I commend this woman for keeping her peace.
I so agree.
I don't know if she did it because she was pregnant or if she's just really that well-rounded, but I appreciate the poster.
She's definitely level-headed, especially for being pregnant. She's over here feeling bad that she cackled about her husband, like, finally getting in touch with the major problem that she's been stressing about. She thought she was being delusional. I hope that her intuition is validated for her own self, because she was spot on with all of it. Her husband eventually caught on, and thank God that he did, because I don't know how it would have went if she had to bring it up. I don't think it would have gone as well. I think he would have eventually gotten it. Maybe he would have been defensive at first, but then as things played out, he probably would have been like, oh yeah, this girl is touching me too much and not swimming and whatever.
It took him a minute, but he did end up putting two and two together like a typical man.
Chloe was just so unapologetic about it. She didn't even try to cover it up. Who comes over, puts themselves in a bikini, and doesn't go swimming?
And then after this man tells you, I'm happily married, I don't want nothing to do with you, you guys are keep texting them to come over.
Now you just want to hang out for real at the pool, or what?
That's harassment. That's harassment. That's
harassment.
That's harassment. That's horrible. You struck out. He already told you no. You struck out. At this point, that is harassment.
I agree.
No. Nope. No.
It's
I'm just glad that
for me, dog.
I'm just happy for the couple in the long run that they were able to work through that and they were able to come to a conclusion that works for really everybody but the sister-in-law who.
Sorry about it. Sucks to suck. Shouldn't be such an asshole. Shouldn't call your nephew or niece an it.
Why are you doubling down on that? Like, your brother's sitting here telling you what you're doing is messed up. I don't want you around if you're going to be doing that. So now you're just going to dig yourself a deeper and deeper hole.
I had this baby intentionally. I am married to the person I want to be married to. I am fine. I'm not blinking twice because I'm a hostage. All of this stuff is the life I want to live. And you're over here trying to completely terrorize my household with your friend Chloe.
To say your wife is baby trapping you, they are married. They're not dating. They're married. This man is 28 years old. I'm sure he was the one to be like, I want to have a baby. It's usually the men too, because they don't got to carry the baby that they won't be. I want to have a baby.
And he's a lawyer, and they obviously have enough financial resources to be able to have a pool in their house, which I think not everybody is able to have. So, I mean, they seem like they're doing okay. It probably does seem like time to have a baby for him. What do you mean? Leave this man alone. This was a conscious choice.
Who cares if the woman left her job or not? Like you said, he's a lawyer. He can take care of them. If you can afford to have a child and stay home with that child for the first couple years or something instead of daycare, why wouldn't you? Like,
yeah, that is what you do. If you have the resources.
People have an indoor pool. They have money.
They have enough money.
And it's probably not just his money if she was working before. Just because she stays home with this child doesn't mean she ain't going to go back to work ever again either.
It's not every woman's dream just to live off of some man. It's just not.
In fact, it's hard to stay at home, especially with a newborn and stuff like that. It's like having an ankle monitor
at home. Totally.
It's like being on
house arrest.
Yeah, it's like being on house arrest.
Your job is never over.
No.
Like when you're a stay-at-home mom, everyone thinks that everything inside the house is your sole responsibility. And you never leave your damn house. And the second you walk into your house, there's stuff to do. There's a job. And like, don't give yourself boundaries around a 9 to 5. Kids always need stuff.
Who has the audacity to really get in the middle of that and be like, you should be with my hot friend, Chloe? That's not going to help the situation at all.
Yeah, what does Chloe do for work? What is she going to contribute here? What do you think is so special about Chloe, who's
nothing, absolutely nothing?
This random young unmarried girl who wants to steal some other person's husband. That just doesn't say very many characteristics that are attractive to me.
She's gonna cheat with him. She gonna cheat on him, that's for sure. So you ain't trying to get him a better relationship. To say that this baby is already ruining everything. What are you, 5?
It's so weird. What is the baby ruining? Because this guy made a conscious decision to have a baby. So I don't know what kind of self-centered life you're living, but it's not your baby or your house or your kid or anything. So what is it ruining exactly? Your evil, weird plan to have your friend date your brother? Well, your brother is married.
I just feel like this girl is in love with her brother. There's no other ifs, ands, buts about it. And I feel like this guy, the husband, has just let his sister run amok for so long that she feels entitled to him for some reason. This man isn't your father. This man isn't your husband. It's your brother. You really need to be that up your brother's ass. This baby's ruining everything already. Like, shut up. You are not 12 years old getting a new sibling or something. Like, you are 23 years old getting a niece or nephew. What are they ruining for you?
That's the part I can't get over. What is this baby ruining for you? You can't go swimming. You can't bring Chloe to be your new sister-in-law. What exactly is it ruining?
Maybe she just wanted to touch his arm, put some fries in the microwave.
Microwave some French fries. Lay down. You want to lay down? You want me to touch your arm? You want some French fries in the microwave?
What is wrong with this sister? I swear, I'm not a fan. I'll comment on this post. The update post says, this is such a good update. A couple communicating honestly that solves a problem and going to therapy for a check-in to help them facilitate better communication in the future. We love to see it. Wishing you and your husband the best, and I hope this means a little less stress for you during your pregnancy. What a relief to let your husband handle this from this point on. This girl was so stressed out about it, I'm sure. And that can affect the baby, being this stressed out and wondering, like, am I crazy? Am I not crazy? And then the second this man probably made her not feel crazy, which is why all these laughs came out. He knew he was going to have to handle this from now on. And I'm glad that he did, and it wasn't coming from her, because he even wanted to blame the wife.
Wife cannot be the messenger here. Like, even though she's going to blame the wife, I think if the wife were to say it, that would just make things 10 times worse. So, no. The husband needs to step in, needs to put an end to this. He needs to probably stop seeing his sister for a little bit. I'm not saying cut her off, but just reduce contact temporarily. Just like a really hot, sticky situation right now.
I feel like if he does want to continue a relationship with the sister, maybe he also needs to take the sister on a therapy session or two as well. Establish healthy boundaries, because this woman has no healthy boundaries with her brother. It's so freaking weird. It's giving when Angelina Jolie kissed her brother on the red carpet type of thing. That's how I feel this girl is. She would rather be the one with her brother. This comment says, am I crazy for getting the impression that sister-in-law is the one that's into the husband? As if she can live vicariously through someone of her choosing, since it is to be taboo otherwise. I'm just trying to understand why a sister would be so insistent on a friend pursuing her brother and then get so defensive about it once called out.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably where you were getting those same vibes.
I was like, what's wrong with this lady?
And I think that's why I'm so persistent on, like, what did they think the end game was on? I don't get it. Trying to make sense of why you would have the motivation to even do this and why you would be so devastated that it is ruining like, what did you have in your head that you had your heart so set on?
What is your best case scenario, right? Your best friend hooks up with your brother, right? And then what, you want to hear all the details? Did you catch him in the closet?
Are you gonna move
While I was distracting the wife?
You want to touch your arm at the same time?
Put some fries in the microwave, want me to touch your arm?
It's like the mom in Mean Girls, like, do you guys want some french fries? No.
Like, what is wrong with this girl?
If anyone's wondering why we're talking about french fries, if you watch Gypsy Rose, go watch our Gypsy Rose videos.
I'm going to insert Brooke's infamous clip right now.
When she finishes her fries, she looks back at the bed, and you can tell she's nervous to even lay down. The second I lay down, this man is going to pounce on me, and he's like, you can lay down. It's just like, imagine the feeling of, like, every movement you make is being watched. And it's been like that for the last 8 years. And now you get out of prison and you have this man just, you want to lay down? You want me to touch your arm? You want some french fries in the microwave?
I felt violated just then. Okay, so just some advice. Even if sister-in-law comes back, you need to ban Chloe from your lives and home. She disregarded your husband's request to stop hitting on him. How would it be if a man did that to you?
Yes. Oh, yes. Chloe is off limits. She is gone.
Bye, Chloe.
I hope I never hear that lady again in her bathing suit.
Neither of these people are sorry. They kept doing it. And then once they get called out on it, the sister-in-law is going to be like, sorry, brah, but their baby is ruining my life, and I prefer you to be with my younger, hotter friend so I don't lose you. That's not even going to keep him from losing you. He's still going to have a baby. The baby's still going to exist.
Yeah, we didn't even touch the part where she said that he should have dragged her to the abortion clinic.
It was so despicable.
I just had a reaction when you read it mostly, but what kind of delusion does she have in her brain about her brother's life? That she thinks all this is so wrong. This man got willingly married. He intentionally, consciously decided to make a baby, and it sounds like they both decided for her to leave her job. What do you think is going on in your brother's life?
She thinks he's being held hostage in a little mega mansion. Why didn't all these concerns come up when he was getting married? Were you just hunky-dory with the wife when he was getting married, and then all of a sudden you wanted to act weird? I think she got mad when she saw that this wife was living a good life with this pool. She's like, oh, well, my brother's now taking care of this woman. She ain't working. She got a pool and she got a baby.
The last episode, and I don't know what order they'll get aired in, but we just did a story of the week about an inheritance. And we did talk about how money does weird things to people. And I wonder if, even though the sister is not trying to get after the money, I wonder if she's making a lot of weird assumptions about the wife, because she just left her job. She's pregnant. They got married. She seems to be just staying in this house, and it sounds like a pretty nice house. I wonder if she's Yeah, she's making all these assumptions
Mhm.
about what this money means, even though I don't think the wife is the
I think
wife is
she's
just
jealous and
married
she
a
wished she
man.
would have married her own brother because her
Yeah.
brother got money and her brother got an
Yeah.
indoor pool. Like,
You
it's
know,
just
she'd be a lot better off just hanging out more with her brother and asking if he has any friends from lawyer school rather than trying to make this weird pass
well,
at with her friend.
this whole thing backfired on you 100%. If you
Yeah.
would have just hung out with your brother more and were helpful with the baby and wanting to be more active with the baby, then you wouldn't probably lose your brother. But you're going to lose him now. I mean, either way, you can't come back from that comment. I don't care what you say. You cannot come back from that comment. That clinic comment alone is gross and it made me uncomfy. Imagine how it made your own brother feel.
Imagine how it made the wife feel to hear that she said that about her. I would not even trust my kid around her anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if
Like,
she thinks that your kid was a mistake, you can't leave her alone with the kid. You definitely couldn't ask her to babysit because what if something
I
happened?
wouldn't.
One last comment. Sister-in-law's attitude. Attitude. Sister-in-law.
Attitude.
It's so hard to talk after a long day of filming.
It is.
Sister-in-law's attitude towards the baby sounds like the crux of her problem. She's probably jealous that the baby and mom will replace her by taking all of her brother's attention, and she won't get to have her brother around her anytime, anywhere. She needs a hell of a lot of therapy. OP, congrats on the outcome. Best wishes. She does need a lot of therapy. She got some daddy issues, she got some brother issues, and she got some family issues. I'm glad that it had a great outcome because if it didn't, I'd be so uncomfy.
No, I was terrified for this update because it could have went so many ways. Knowing that the brother was defensive of his sister, I didn't think that there was really an easy way to kind of present this to him. So thankfully, he figured it all out himself so that he could just figure it all out himself.
Yeah, and I'm sure even to this day, this is like 3 years later, you got to be careful with this girl because I know she was 23, but hopefully when she starts having her own family, she will realize how cruel this was.
Yeah.
I mean, karma is a bitch, right? So what happens when this happens to you and you're pregnant and your husband cheats on you with somebody or whatever?
Totally.
That could very well happen to you because of how you decided to instigate into your own brother of all people's marriage. I can't get over the fact that her best outcome was to break up a home. Like this kid
For
wasn't still
her
gonna exist
friend who's,
anyways.
quote, younger and hotter to just step in. It's weird.
And be stepmom or whatever. And then what? Even if this would have worked out in her favor, I really don't think that she wasn't gonna not lose her brother that way. I mean, I think that was gonna make her lose her brother even more,
Unless
but
you
only to her
marry
best
your own
friend now.
brother, which it sounds more and more like she would have liked to, then you're gonna lose your brother. You guys are adults. He's gonna get married. Maybe one day, if you can trick a man enough, you can get married.
A lot of tricks.
A lot of tricks up her sleeve. But you know what? It seems like she has a lot of tricks up her sleeve. She has a lot of playbooks going on. Maybe Chloe can help.
I was gonna say, you better be watching Chloe when you decide to
Yeah,
get
you
married.
better be watching Chloe. You know what? But part of me feels like Chloe, she played a role, obviously, once she decided she liked
Yeah.
this man. But I don't
She's
know.
a
I almost
pawn.
feel like the sister was the mastermind here. She was like, just see if you're into my brother, and then if you are, work your magic.
She was just a pawn, that Chloe. She was just in for the ride. She's like, you know what? Best case scenario, I get this man and this house and this pool and this money. And the worst case scenario, I just had to walk around in a bikini for a few hours.
Yeah. She's still morally corrupt, but I think the sister is the wrong one here.
Yeah, you know the sister-in-law was talking to her like, yeah, Chloe, you could have all this. This could all be yours.
I know. Have you
Like,
met my
what?
brother? He has a pool in his house.
He's got a wife, but we'll get rid of her. Trust me.
He doesn't actually love his wife. Maybe she filled Chloe's head with all kinds of things too. My
Probably
brother
did.
is trapped.
What are you going to do with the wife at the end of the day and the baby? They're still existing. They're still going to be there. You're just making this more difficult. There would be what? A divorce and then a child's still going to be there. I just can't get over that part. He didn't take her to that clinic, so there's still a child.
Yeah. It's still going to ruin your plans.
I'm so happy that this couple was able to, one, laugh about it, and two, work on some good skills. We maybe start up some couples therapy, even though I don't think they necessarily need it for this situation, but it is good to establish healthy boundaries, healthy communication.
I don't think any couple should wait until they need couples therapy to go. I think they should go. If things are not clicking when it comes to communication and planning and organizing and things like that, which they rarely do, then you should just go to couples therapy and gain some tools. Because once you go there when you're all hurt for 7 years and pissed off and resentful, again, Therapists are not magicians.
And I just love the fact that he's the one that brought it up, and he's the one that wants to do it, and he's the one that said it's not because of anything going on with us. He said all the right things after he was defensive, of course, but he said all the right things, and I feel like he handled the situation very well.
He had enough intuition to know we both knew of a major problem going on, a risk even to our own marriage. And neither one of us could find the courage to talk about it until the very last minute. That is a big problem. That's not like a we're going to get divorced problem, but that is a big communication problem. You should go to therapy. That doesn't mean you're going to get divorced or that you don't love each other. You guys both had a huge issue, and one of you went to Reddit and the other one of you didn't really know how to bring it up until the lady was coming over again, and you were like, oh no, I'm going to get in trouble one of these days. Cassidy, that sister, after that conversation that we didn't know about until we knew about it, to be like, I'm coming over at 1 o'clock. The F you are. Have you talked to your brother?
That's why he was like, can you tell her? I've been like, you tell her now. Like, what do you mean?
If I would have heard that story afterwards, I would have been like, yeah, you're going to have to call your sister. I'm not responding for a long time. Not until long after this baby is born will I be talking to that girl.
She would be on my crap list forever. Thank goodness the wife even has a semi sense of humor about this, but I'm sure all these comments did hurt her. I mean, being called a beached whale, for sakes.
If you're pregnant, I don't care how much weight you gain or whatever. There is an entire human growing inside you. Your body's going to change. Yeah,
wait till you get pregnant, honey. Let me know what you look like.
She gained 400 pounds.
Oh, she's going to be huge. She's going to be
like 5.
It's not just a club in Jersey. It's not even a club in Jersey anymore. But well, ChickChat, another good ending for us.
Another one.
I do enjoy when we have a nice, wholesome ending.
I know. This one started badly and ended well. ChickChat, we're finished.
All right. Well, you have a good one, ChickChat. We will catch you on the next story. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.